Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Jack, and I will begin our 2021 presentation on the closure of popular fashion retailer Roger David. This upcoming presentation will discuss Australian retail giant Roger David, what led to its decision to close, the macro and micro environmental influences that led to this, its initial unsuccessful responses to the tough situation it was faced upon, and recommendations. Roger David was a popular Australian retail chain that had been selling suits and men's fashion nationwide since 1942 at an affordable price. During its peak, it operated up to 100 stores around Australia, which slowly reduced down to 57 since then, employing up to 300 retail specialists. In December of 2018, it officially entered voluntary administration. The factors leading to this will be the primary focus of this presentation. So the specific events leading to closure. Leading up to 2018, Roger David had been gradually closing stores across the country as it had been experiencing the negative effects of rising operational costs and fierce online global competition. Following this, the business was put up for sale where little interest was shown, and no one decided to acquire it during the 4-week selling period. After its official decision to close, the business offered a 60% discount on stocked clothing during Christmas for it to be cleared out, and to maximize cash to pay employees their entitlements. Rising costs. Unfortunately, rising costs was a huge aspect contributing to Roger David's decision to close down. Particularly, rental prices for its many properties nationwide had been skyrocketing, which is why close to half of the stores had to close down, leading to its official company closure in December 2018. With rental prices increasing, it struggled with financial stability and flexibility. An influx in rising online global competitors was also a large aspect of its decision to close down. With a larger variety of consumer choice, Roger David found that they were experiencing far less sales and return customers, drastically affecting its ability to make revenue every financial year. Huge online players such as Amazon.com, Zara, and H&M had been pushing older, smaller brands aside, which is demonstrated through Roger David's decision to close.
Thank you, Jack, for his presentation. And my name is Lynn. So now I will present my pastel analysis about Roger David. So first of all, let's talk about the political. The brand fell in international trade agreements, which stopped Roger David to target an international customer. Therefore, they cannot bid weak on the global competitors such as Uniqlo or Nike. And the increase in competition is also an economic problem that Roger David had to deal with. The international brand has been imported to Australia every year. It gives them more options for customers to select for their needs and wants. So Roger David is touched in themselves every. And Roger David was compared as the dinosaur because they cannot catch up with a new trend in social, and even the size of clothes are not flexible for an age. As we know, Roger David have their own website, but it's still not success in some way. And my research, is it because of the lack of management of the website? Moreover, the online competition has increased every single year, and is the new and modern with a new style and hybrid. Therefore, it's beating the old brand such as Broker David. More Furthermore, the price of brand price up because of new legal minimum brand price. They have to struggle in calculate the payment for on this spend compared to the income that they have. Finally, the customer attitude with the shopping environmental is not too special. They don't have any specific comment or like the compliments for a shopping experience in Broker David, because consumer get bored with the old style decoration of a store, which is one of which it can lead to the failure in the business. So thank you. So let's move on to Anita Park.
There are a number of attempts to counter the closures of Roger David. However, this did not have long-lasting effects on the company and only delayed the inevitable. As it has been suggested, the company fell into a perfect storm of increased competition, higher fixed cost, and sluggish sales. Roger David's consistency and popularity, however, can be likened to a dinosaur and struggled to be flexible in the ever-changing retail environment, which ultimately ending in the closure of all stores. In order to counter the closures, there are a number of different strategies used and attempted, one of which was cutting down on stores at 50%, reducing the company's footprint to just over 50 stores. This saved costs such as rent and leases, as well as staffing. Another strategy that was attempted was having massive sales of up to 60% off to not only generate income to help keep the business afloat, but also generate interest in the brand and their products. The other strategy was around marketing and promoting the website in order to reduce costs on staff, but also attempt to maintain sales through online means as opposed to bricks and mortar trading. We have identified the following, which I will explain one by one. Reducing the store footprint. Reducing the store footprint meant that the company cut down on the number of stores, which in turn saved on rental costs for the business. However, due to the rises in rent of other locations and cutting down on these stores, this also reduced sales by a large volume as the number of stores were halved. The next one was frequent discounts and sales. In an attempt to raise more revenue, frequent discounts and sales were attempted with heavy discounts such as 60% off. The issue was, however, although they worked initially, they couldn't be sustained long term as consumers began to expect it and sales began to plummet once again due to the supply and demand. During this period, the brand was affected from a mid to high class brand that brought some sense of exclusivity, which was lost due to the frequency of these sales. There was an online store via a website. In a competitive market where online shopping really increased and changed consumer behavior, Roger David did not keep up with the competition. Although the store had an online presence through a website and social media, the business still made bricks and mortar trade their priority, which in turn had a high expenditure rate than online, where competition overtook them in the fight for market dominance. With online sales and deals soaring and consumer behavior demanding content, which Roger David wasn't producing on the same level, they lost this fight overwhelmingly. Finding a buyer for the business. When the business was taken over by administrators, there were numerous attempts to find a buyer under its current model. However, with online competition increasing and the number of stores under the brand's portfolio, this really affected the potential sale of the business and a buyer was not found. Before looking into recommendations, it's important to look at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats through a SWOT analysis. Strengths of Roger David is that it delivered a sense of consistency for customers through its mid to high class products and labels on offer that delivered for both formal and casual menswear. It was also a renowned brand and in the Dodd Bradman era of Australian cricket, dressed the Australian men's cricket team. Because of such strengths, this meant there were opportunities available, such as being able to collaborate with influencers due to the strength and longevity of the brand. It also meant, because everyone in the country knew it, they could have opted for a stronger online presence, however, didn't exploit this as much as they could have. Another opportunity which could have been exploited was this ever-increasing pop-up stores. This would have created a sense of exclusivity and sparked an increase in supply and demand. However, the business did not look at this as an option. The weaknesses of the business that it did have a poor online presence in comparison to its competitors such as Zara and Amazon, and didn't adjust their business model until it was too late, and because of that, had high expenses which included rent and staffing overheads. The threats to Roger David was an increasing rise in rental costs, a highly competitive online market, and having only menswear where the view of society was really gaining momentum towards equality. In order to fix this, the following recommendations have been identified. The main recommendation for the business to restart is to not have a large physical footprint and direct focus to an online store and marketing to further promote its products. In a world where digital marketing is so important, Roger David, through its name, would have been able to create waves in this market if attention and business model was adjusted. Another option could have been to take a step back and operate under a retail management banner with a number of shops, similar to what Cotton On do, who also have Factory and Typo, who are other retail giants under the same banner. This would have allowed for short-term losses to occur and reliance on strong performers while the brand got back to prominence. In a world where point of difference is becoming increasingly popular, pop-up stores could have been looked as options to promote the brand away from a regular bricks and mortar model. This would have saved on fixed costs and overheads and increased exclusivity and demand for the products, just like it had 70 odd years ago. If more strategy and a long-term mindset was developed initially around a flexible business model that changed to satisfy consumer behavior and rising costs, then Roger David would still be around today. Thank you for listening.